Turner, 13-1. Here you come, Colts.
I got this one last thing, but never mind.
Okay.
Not important.
I got this. Happy holidays. I'm Scott.
I'm Stuart. See you.
Got your football fix for pesky Bengals against the pathetic Lions, and it's the Millen Man March. Detroit fans want Matt Millen out. Bengals took care of business. Chad Johnson, 11 catches, 99 yards, and the touch, and he celebrates by not celebrating. It's the latest craze. Steelers-Vikings. Steelers defense, nasty. Scoring a safety, holding the Vikings to 25 yards in the second half, winning it 18-3. Jaguars against the Niners. Jacksonville plays down to its opponents. 10-9 the final in this one. Jacksonville wins for the 6th time in 7 games. All right, let's look at 4 of the 6 playoff spots already been clinched in the AFC, including the Colts, Bengals, and Patriots, clinching their divisions. Jags in the driver's seat for the wild card, and the easiest remaining schedule, 2 home games against struggling teams. Let's bring in Sean Salisbury. Sean, how do you see the AFC playoff picture?
And Dan, instead of just saying the playoff picture, I'm going to give you the seeds as of right now, how I think it's going to end up when we come to the playoffs. And let's start in the AFC. And obviously you got the Colts as a top seed. Is there a little bit of wonderment creeping in after that loss? The Broncos about to win their division. The Bengals still battling for the number 2 seed. And then it comes to the Pats. The Jags and the Steelers are my wild card teams. But Dan, keep an eye on the Patriots, because it could work out where they're looking at the Colts again in a possible AFC championship game, depending on the reseeds. Colts still got to be the favorite, but the Patriots are playing their best football right now, and Tom Brady better be a top 5 MVP candidate.
All right, NFC football fix. We'll get back to Sean. Cowboys against the Redskins. This was one-sided, and it was ugly. Chris Cooley with the 30-yard catch and run. Mark Brunell, another great game. 3rd TD of the game for Cooley. Skins roll 35-7. Panthers and the Saints, and it's Steve Smith. Ran in a score, also caught one. 6 catches, 85 yards, 27-10. Final in this one. Falcons and Bears, and Rex Grossman hasn't played since the middle of last year. Came in the 3rd quarter, getting the save. 22-yard strike to Mushin Muhammad. That was his first completion. 9 of 16, 93 yards and a pick. Bears won at 16-3. Heading into Week 16, 3 of the NFC's division still up for grabs technically. Bears and G-Men can each clinch their divisions this weekend, while a win by Seattle gives them the home field advantage. The Bears in the driver's seat for the other first-round bye, as they have a better conference record than the Giants and Panthers. NFC wildcard picture became a mess in Week 15 with contenders Tampa, Minnesota, Dallas, and Atlanta all losing. You got 4 teams at 8 and 6. Skins currently hold that final playoff spot in the NFC based on tiebreakers and finish with games against the Giants and the Eagles. Let's bring back Sean. How do you see the NFC playoff picture?
Well, Dan, let's look at the seeds here now. And obviously, Seattle is the most complete team, so let's start with them. The Bears, a new quarterback and a defense that's lights out, could be dangerous, especially if they're battling these Giants and they can get the 2nd seed and get a bye and a home game, which would be difficult for anybody to come in. You got the 4 seed, the Panthers, who are extremely schizophrenic but can be dangerous. And then the 2 wild cards, the Buccaneers and Dan, the Redskins. Both the Vikings and the Cowboys laid an egg, and it was a giant one. They gacked in their games yesterday. The Redskins are going to find a way to creep in. I still pick the Panthers in August. I'm going to stick with them throughout. But I'll tell you what, the Seahawks are real close, and chasing the Colts is football's best team, Dan.
All right, good stuff, Sean. Of course, that Redskins-Giants game coming up this weekend, added importance there. Chris?
Dan, where Shaq and the Lakers are concerned, time hasn't healed old wounds. Shaq's taking on owner Jerry Buss. Last Thursday in the LA Times, Buss again stood by his decision to trade Shaq, saying he would make the same decision 100 out of 100 times. Buss said the risk outweighed the reward. Shaq's fitness, his salary demands outweighed his contributions to the team. Well, in the Florida Sun-Sentinel, Shaq said Buss was simply not an honest businessman. Quote,
So good in part 1, we brought him back for part 2, and Coach Ditka complaining he didn't get enough face time.
guy's killing me.
I know. I'm going to start every
I'm playing
question.
in pain, too.
I'm going to go with you every time. All right, we saw some shaky tackling. Certainly the Chiefs and Tiki Barber. Why is it this time of the year, especially with the Chiefs, shaky tackling?
Well, I think you notice it this time of year. It's happened all year. People in this league, the secondary, they can't tackle. Tackling is all about an attitude. Either you have it or you don't. There's no way to practice it because, first of all, they don't practice it in training camp. Therefore, they don't play in the preseason game because of the regular season. They got a chance to tackle. They forgot how.
They tackle pretty well all season long.
Get
It's
outta
just
here.
right now, it's getting late in the season, and a lot of these coaches start taking off the shoulder pads and giving guys rest. Jimmy Johnson never believed in that. You keep on the shoulder pads. Jimmy Johnson, my coach, we won Super Bowls
You
with.
think that's the only guy that kept guys in pads?
Well, you didn't say you kept them in pads. You could have made that statement when you had the mic.
Wait a minute,
Coach,
but hold on. You're talking about Kansas City fighting for their playoff lives, and that's one of the more embarrassing
And you get
displays.
veteran coaches, they take off these shoulder pads, and guys start getting nicks. You keep them in the shoulder pads, so when they get the nicks in practice, they learn mentally to work through them. Now you get in the game, shoulder pads off, you get these nicks and bruises, little hangnails, and you start missing tackles. Stay in your shoulder pads. The game is football. Continue to play it till the season ends. Coach, you should have said that because you're a coach. I'm just a player.
You don't even know about pads, son. I had them in pads until Sunday morning.
Well, tell the folks that.
Sunday morning.
All right, you guys being former Cowboys, what happened yesterday?
Well, Bill makes a great statement all the time. We are what we are. They are what they are. They got no tackles. They can't. Listen, you can blame Bledsoe if you want to. He had no chance. None. When he hit his fifth step, the plant.
Right.
Daniels was on him. I mean, it was incredible. That left tackle was he was invisible. I mean, they had no chance. They couldn't. They lost their confidence because they couldn't protect the quarterback. They couldn't get the ball down.
Are they done?
Everything went wrong.
They're done?
Everything went wrong. I don't, not necessarily done because they still have 2 games. They can play Carolina, they can beat Carolina, and they still have a chance to get in the playoffs.
It's going to be tough.
As Washington lose these next couple games and Minnesota lose a game or 2, they still have a shot.
Parcells hadn't missed the playoffs consecutive years since 1987-88.
Well, it's not about him. Bill's not playing. And last time I looked at him, he said what number he is. I don't know.
What a coach
If his players are playing.
That's just what a coach would say.
Yeah, but we gave him credit when they
exactly
won.
What a coach would say.
But we gave Bledsoe credit. He deserves credit. He deserves credit for finishing that game on his feet. I mean, really alive because they killed him.
League MVP. Now, you complain you're not getting enough face time. I'm going back to you right now. League MVP is who? Take all the time you
You're
want.
talking about the NFC, AFC, everybody?
NFL.
Coach,
MVP.
league. He
The whole
said the league.
NFL.
Everybody.
Did you say league?
I said league MVP.
He said league.
Peyton Manning.
Sean Alexander.
You had more face time
That's
if you
all right.
wanted
Hey,
it,
let
Coach.
I know he's going to say
Thank you.
Sean Alexander, and I agree with that. I mean, I could say Steve Smith. They'll never give it to a receiver. But I mean,
Well, who do you believe deserves it?
I just know what you watch what the Indianapolis Colts do on Saturday without Peyton Manning as quarterback. You watch.
Sean Alexander, I mean, look at what he has done. He's about to get the touchdown record, and he's been able to, he's had to sit down a couple games in the second half. He hasn't even played in the second half, so he deserves the MVP.
And just to make it interesting, I'll throw one more out there.
Coach, you only get one, Coach. No.
Jake Plummer.
You only get one, Coach.
Jake Plummer? You would take Jake Plummer over Tom Brady?
Hey, man, why are you sucking up to Coach? Why does he get 2? Then you give him one and you get back over here. I only want Sean Alexander.
Well, then
I understand. I only want it. Because stop giving him more than one. Coach, come on.
You want another pick?
Is there a difference from most valuable and most outstanding, if I said most outstanding player?
I would think so. And he made a good point. Tom Brady is such a valuable player to his team. Manning, and Alexander, I couldn't argue with any of those. Tiki Barber, you can't argue with that. He's the heart and soul of their offense. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys. I just hate when people say, well, who's the best? There is no best. There's guys who are better for their teams than other people.
Well, what is the difference between most outstanding and most valuable?
Well, most valuable may not be the guy who's putting up the biggest numbers. Edgerrin James could be more valuable to the Colts, but Peyton Manning could be.
Here.
Exactly. It could be.
And that's why Jake Plummer could be more valuable to the Broncos than a lot of other guys because he has transformed his game in a period of 1 year.
Tiki Barber has accounted for 40% of the Giants' offense this year. That's
valuable.
That's a bigger total.
That's valuable.
Yeah.
That's big. That's big time.
Valuable.
Yeah.
All right. Are the Bears Rex Grossman? No, I got to start with you.
Okay.
Are the Bears Rex Grossman's team?
Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask Lovey that, but I really...
No, do you think?
That's what
I think they are. You know why?
Okay.
Because everybody's been crying for a quarterback change. So finally they're going to give him a quarterback change, okay? That's what they want, a quarterback change. Grossman played good enough the other day. He put some points on the board finally. This team can play defense, but they've got to score some points. If Grossman can throw the ball like he did the other day, and Mohammed would keep quiet, they'll be okay.
Right, I agree with you now, Moose. And come on, man. That was a young guy, and you shouldn't do that to him on the sidelines. But get this right here. That team didn't game plan for Rex. Yes, Rex, you should be the starting quarterback, but I want to see what happens the next couple weeks when teams game plan for Rex Grossman. That's what I want.
Now, that's a heck of an answer.
Hey, Coach, that's right. That's what I do. I give good answers.
Pro Bowl quarterbacks in the NFC.
Hasselback.
I need 3.
Maybe Dalholm. I guess Mike Vick. I guess, but I don't know.
Well, you don't have to guess. Mike Vick, he's the league. He's everything. He's most
I could say Kyle Orton, you know.
Hasselback, Mike Vick, and Delhomme.
Any of those quarterbacks start over any quarterback in the Pro Bowl for the AFC?
Not a one.
There's 5 in the AFC would beat them. It would be there before them.
Give me the 5 quarterbacks in the AFC.
Well, you go Peyton, Breeze, you go Denver, Carson Palmer, and I think there's one more.
I may give you 4.
Yeah, 4.
I may
4
give you
5.
4. I'll give you Peyton, Manning, Tom Brady, and Carson Palmer. And that's good, Coach. We're close.
And Drew Brees.
What's that tell you then about the NFC?
It's a weaker division.
Just the quarterbacks.
Just the quarterback, right? It's a weaker division, though. It is.
It doesn't mean, that the team from the NFC can't win the Super Bowl, but it's a weaker division.
Who do you think was more bummed out? Houston Texan fans or Colts fans yesterday?
Colts fans. Houston Texan fans were bummed out a long time ago.
Yeah, but
I know the Reggie Bush story. I understand it. I understand all that. But I'm telling you what, that's a whole different animal. You can't go out on a football field as a player and try to lose or try not to win. They went out and played pretty darn good, but they played well a lot this year, and they've lost some games they shouldn't have lost. They shouldn't be in the Derby.
And it's hands down Indianapolis, man. I mean, did you see the faces in the crowd when they saw that they had finally lost that football game? Yeah, they were pretty bummed out.
Shocked.
I was bummed out for them. I was bummed out. There's 1 or 2 games every year, Dan, that you watch as an ex-player that really makes you want to play the game again. And that game, that Indy-San Diego game, was one of them.
Who had more to gain, though? Because obviously the Colts want to go undefeated. Here's San Diego playing for their playoff lives. Is it possible San Diego had more to play for, more motivation than the Colts did?
Well, here's the key. San Diego could win. If they win 3 games in a row, which that was one next to, if they do, they can. They might not even get in the playoffs.
They won't.
That's the hardest thing. They go to Kansas City.
Then they got Denver.
Denver at home. It'd be tough.
They won't, but I tell you why they played. They played so they can make that statement. They can say in the end, I know we lost a lot of close games, and everybody's saying we didn't make the playoff or we may not make the playoffs, but we are as good as any team in this NFL. And I can tell you what, they can take that into next year. Look at what we did to the champions, because Indianapolis will be the champions. We should be able to take that type of attitude and take that type of game plan and go in there every season.
There was a story about that, a book written on that, next year's champions. That was the old Cowboys, so forget about next year. You got to make it happen now.
Yeah, but
coaches don't even stay
You got to try to
for
take something into next season. You have to try to take something into
That's your consolation prize?
It is what it is. Hey, they the one left it out there like that. They the one did what
the
they
media
did.
guy to the Chargers will say, we beat the Colts last year. That's our
And we beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
You got to try to grab what you can grab, buddy, when it's not good.
Season ticket sales are going to be really brisk there in San Diego.
Hey, look at it.
That's Open Mike with Mike Ditka, who I hope got a lot of FaceTime. He complained enough about it. And Michael
I didn't
Irvin.
say airtime, I said airtime.
It's the same thing, Coach. This isn't radio, it's TV. Thank you, man.
Well, now that the Colts run and perfection's over, Don Shula exhales and reflects on his 72 Dolphins. He talks with Dan after the break.
Man, those guys wear me out. Brett Favre. We're going to try to narrow down his top 5 moments under the bright lights of Monday Night Football.
And who would win if the Trojans played the 91 Washington Huskies? Our experts play it out ahead.
Hi, I'm Coach Don Shula. Stay tuned for Perfection on Sports.
Do I think the Colts will do it? Don't call me when they're in my town. Call me when they're on my block.
No need to call Moreeeee at all. Member of the 72 Dolphins, let's look at key moments of that season. The young Miami Dolphins lose the Super Bowl the previous season. That's how the road to perfection began with a 24-3 loss. 1972 starts strong. The Dolphins are 4-0. How'd they do it? With Bob Greasy and team receiver Paul Warfield leaving the offense. The no-name defense hounded a couple of quarterbacks, Hall of Famers Tarkenton and Namath as well. Then Deacon Jones broke Bob Greasy's leg, and a starter came in to replace him, Earl Morrall. Wasn't that old, wasn't that dull. 20-year veteran threw for 13 touchdowns on the season. Larry Zonka had a 1,000-yard year. Moreeeee Morris led the team with 12 touchdowns. They beat the Browns to start the playoffs. So 14-0 and a win in the playoffs so far. In the AFC Championship, the upstart Steelers in Pittsburgh. 37-yard fake punt by Larry Seipel, tying touchdown. And look who's back from injury. Greasy returns under center. Led 2 touchdown drives. 21-17 victory. And in the Super Bowl against the Washington Redskins, the Dolphins only needed 2 touchdowns. Manny Fernandez and Nick Bonacani dominated up front. Jake Scott picked off 2 passes. Most valuable player honors. The Dolphins 14-7, a perfect 17-0 run. The Colts' pursuit of 14-0 stopped by the Chargers, but Indy still has numbers similar to the 72 Dolphins. Scoring margins by both teams nearly identical. But the Dolphins, who had 6 future Hall of Famers on their team, dominated teams more in terms of yardage. Dan?
And let's bring in the head coach of the team that went undefeated in 1972. He's the Hall of Famer, Don Shula. Coach, your reaction to when the Colts lost yesterday was what?
Well, I'd be lying if I said that I was upset about it. You know, if they would have won and then continued to win and broke our record, then I'd be the first guy to call and congratulate them. But until somebody does that, you know, we're very proud of that accomplishment. And, you know, nobody did it before us. Nobody's done it since. So we think it's a pretty important record.
Who's the first person you called after you realized the Colts were losing or had lost?
There was a coach from San Diego by the name of Marty Schottenheimer, who is a real good friend of mine. And so I called and congratulated him. And then Jim Steig, who used to work for us, that's now out there with Marty, I also talked to him. But I was able to get a hold of Marty in the locker room afterwards and told him that I was very proud of him. I said, you know, we're close friends and we're closer now.
Champagne toast, are you going to have that?
No, we didn't have the champagne toast, but and you know, I think there might have been a champagne toast by a couple of guys, but the guys that had it were too cheap to invite the rest of us down to the party.
How would you think this year's Colts would have fared against your 72 Dolphins?
Oh, it's tough to say. You know, the Colts just have my respect. The organization, Bill Polian, Tony Dungy, a great coach. And Peyton Manning, the quarterback, he does more things, Dan, than anybody that's ever done behind the line of scrimmage, in my estimation. The way he controls the pace of the game, the things that he does behind the line of scrimmage with a no-huddle offense, and then when he physically gets the football and his accuracy throwing the ball, and when he has to scramble, he'll take on a tackler. I think that he's just fun to watch, and that entire football team is a great football team.
Let's look at the skill positions. Quarterback, wide receiver, running back. Anybody from your 72 team start on this year's Colts team?
Oh, I think we had a guy by the name of Larry Zonka that wasn't bad. And, you know, when we got down into the red zone, we didn't settle for field goals. We got touchdowns. Zonka knew how to get into the end zone. And then Paul Warfield was just such a gifted athlete, just unbelievable. You know, he could, in my estimation, he could line up and be a great receiver today or tomorrow or whenever. But he was that good. And defensively, we just had a bunch of guys on the defense that were just very intelligent guys that were very competitive. Never made any defensive mistakes, never gave up the cheap touchdown, made the team earn it against us. And offensively, you know, we had ball control, time of possession.
I want to know what your Christmas card list looks like each year as that final team gets knocked off. Do you all of a sudden pick up somebody else you have to send a Christmas card to?
Well, listen, I'm willing to do that. I want you to understand that, Dan. I'm willing to do that and recognize accomplishment. And Marty Schottenheimer is right at the top of my Christmas card list right now.
He is Don Shula, the only man to coach a perfect team. 1972 Dolphins. Great to visit with you again, Coach. Thank you.
Nice being with you, Dan.
Joining the 72 Dolphins' other perfect runs. Aboard this Express, a long and storied career on Monday nights could tonight be Brett Favre's last Monday night game. Although he's 0-2 this season, he loves playing on Monday nights. October 31st in '94 at the Bears, a TD run and a pass in his first career Monday Night Football win. September in '95, again at the Bears, another win. 27-24, NFL record-tying 99-yard TD pass to Robert Brooks. December of '01 at the Jags, a victory by a touchdown. Season-high 362 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, game-winning touchdown on the ground. And December 22nd, 2003, at the Raiders, big victory, 41-7, 22-30, 399 yards, 4 touchdowns, and that was just one day following his father's passing. Well, Favre is second all-time among quarterbacks with 17 wins on Monday Night Football. Makes sense, many have come at Lambeau. However, over the past 4 seasons, he's even more impressive on the road Monday night, winning 3 of the 4 games, averaging over 3 touchdown passes per game in those games. Continue our football talk. Chris Mortensen joins us. Mort, the Colts usually get Monday and Tuesday off following a victory in December per Tony Dungy's rules. But players were at the complex today and many were sore. Peyton Manning hit the ground 4 times. How is he doing?
Well, he was as sore as he's been all season, and as sore as he's been in quite a while. In fact, he reported for treatment, and it's just, hey, listen, is he injured? Is he? No, it's nothing that's going to jeopardize him. And Peyton has a great playing consecutive starting streak, just like Brett Favre does. This guy's played with his jaw wired shut before, but he took a lot of hits. It just wasn't on the sacks. It was being pressured for a guy who's sacked the least amount of time. I think that the Chargers, the Colts certainly are concerned about what happened Sunday, to the point where, hey, the Steelers and Patriots, even though the Colts beat them, those are teams that play the similar type defense, and I still believe that the Chargers have a shot to get in here. I don't think Jacksonville's a lock, so I think the Colts certainly are going to take notes on what happened yesterday.
All right, more. Coach Lovie Smith announced late today Rex Grossman will start Sunday in Green Bay. Rex Grossman, Kyle Orton, we know who the coach's pick is. Who is the player's pick?
It is Rex Grossman without question, and as good a job as Kyle Orton did for filling in for a 4th-round rookie, Rex Grossman, you know, this happened last season. I could see it in the locker room. He has the guys in the locker room. He has those players. It happened in minicamp. It happened in training camp. I spoke to Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator, about this, and it's just Rex has a swagger about him. He's got a quick release. He's got a strong arm. He's a little bit of a gunslinger, and I think that the Bears truly believe in him, and that's why he's going to be the quarterback, I think, throughout the playoffs as well.
For all the games he's missed this year and last, it's pretty impressive. Well, Jimmy Johnson turned down the Texans' offer to be coach and GM. What are his plans and what are theirs?
Well, Jimmy Johnson has no plans to ever coach again in the NFL. Now, you never say never in this league, but the one thing he advised Bob McNair, the owner of the Texans, is, you know, no matter what you do there, be patient, because you never know who's going to pop loose. And by that, in other words, is a Mike Shanahan going to pop loose from Denver? Obviously, there's no speculation there. But Bill Belichick from New England or Jeff Fisher from Tennessee, that's the one advice that Jimmy Johnson gave Bob McNair, is just be patient and see who pops loose before you go out and hire somebody new right away.
All right, that's the Mort Report. Mort, we'll see more from you, 7:30 on Countdown. Thanks.
All right, Chris, thank you.
And Kurt Warner, the quarterback, is going to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury. Hurt his right knee in the first quarter against Houston yesterday. Well, the Chiefs lost 27-17 to the Giants Saturday. Couldn't tackle, allowed at least 27 points now for the 3rd straight game. Coach Vermeil today on the personal fouls called against his team as well.
One, there's no question to it. They didn't blow the whistle. When you don't blow the whistle and the guy's still standing up trying to run, you're allowed to hit him. They blew the whistle after. Okay, now the official lied, but I was standing right there. Okay, so I go on that. You take the penalty and move on, because they miss penalties on both sides all the time.
Well, it's Monday. It's evening here in the East Coast, and he's a quarterback, so we came up with the title Monday Evening Quarterback.
Some would argue that I'm not a quarterback.
Well, okay, that's open to discussion.
MERB.
As we look back at Week 15 with the help of Sean Salisbury, biggest surprise?
How the Chargers dominated both lines of scrimmage, Dan. The front seven was all over Manning from the get-go. They moved around, they got after him, and they set the tempo early in the game. He dropped back to pass, they sacked him and pressured him. And then when they ran the ball, Edger and James 25 yards, there was confusion all over the place for the Colts on offense. And then on defense, they gashed it. It didn't matter if it was Low Neal or Michael Turner or LaDainian Tomlinson. Domination all the way around. But unfortunately for the Chargers, Dan, too little too late. They'll be watching in January.
Biggest disappointment?
The embarrassment that the Cowboys showed in Washington, D.C. The Redskins, who beat them coming from behind in Dallas earlier, killed them. The offensive line couldn't block anybody. The Redskins blitzed and blitzed and blitzed, and you knew that was going to happen. The Cowboys, who were fighting for a playoff spot, laid an egg, and it was a huge one, and they may miss out, too. It was an embarrassing and minor league performance by the Cowboys.
Best coaching moves over the
There's
weekend.
A couple of them, Dan. It starts with Marvin Lewis. Hasn't he, in the last 3 years, changed the face of the organization? It's not your father's Bengals anymore. The way he tutored Carson Palmer and didn't play him early, and now's got him going. The way that free agents don't want to leave now, they want to come back here. The Bengals are playing so well, and Marvin Lewis is the face of the organization. And Marty Schottenheimer and defensive coordinator Wade Phillips of the Chargers, moving Sean Merriman all the way around, looking like Lawrence Taylor in different spots. They confused him. They dominated him. They had him moving around and not doing anything properly on offense. The Chargers dominated. Unbelievable job by Wade Phillips to defend the Colts.
Worst coaching move?
I would have to say it's the Chiefs staff. And although the players got to make tackles, eventually maybe you got to cheat and put 12 or 14 guys out there. But I know that Gunther Cunningham had to be angry, as well as Dick Vermeil, by the way his team tackled. It was a minor league performance, and it looked to me as if this team ought to give their paychecks back and donated them to charity, because they made it real easy on Tiki Barber. And a playoff team tackles. You don't play Pop Warner football, and that's exactly what the Chiefs defense did.
All right, as we finish up with Week 15 with the Monday night game, give me your top 5 teams right now.
Dan, we got to start with the Colts still, even though they lost and looked a little confused. Oh, let me start from bottom up. Okay, how about the Broncos? 5. They haven't been overly impressive the last couple weeks, but they're still the best team out west. The New England Patriots at number 4. People say the Patriots, what about their record? It's playoff time, people. And if they get in, don't be surprised if they're playing in the AFC Championship game. The Bengals, offensively, they can score on anybody. Defensively, they force turnovers. I like where they're going, and it's a confident, young football team. The Seahawks are second, Dan, and right now maybe as complete as anybody in the league. As you see, there's only one NFC team in there. We left the Bears and the Panthers out because they're not quite as complete, although the Bears' defense is dominating. And then the Colts, as I said earlier, Dan, they're still the best team, but I got to believe there's just a bit creeping in, saying, oh my gosh, we lost a home game, now people can come in and beat us. Although they've been confident in winning 13 in a row, still one loss, Dan, can shake that a little bit. They don't want that bitter taste.
Let's look at the Patriots, though. It was their defense that had let them down. Brady had done a great job leading this team. Defense has now come back to life. Is it just a coincidence here? Well, we're getting towards playoff time?
Well, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's the moxie and the aura that the Patriots bring, and health, Dan. Seymour's back healthy. Roosevelt Colvin's playing like he did when he was with the Bears before he went to the Patriots. Brewski's getting into rhythm. We know about Vrabel and McGinnis, big play people. And, Dan, if you pressure with that front seven and the inside guys, then the defensive secondary doesn't have to be all pros. They can feast on tip balls and pressures and getting sacks. And then Corey Dillon's getting right, which makes Tom Brady's game a lot easier. I love what they're doing right now. I'm telling you, with the moxie and the aura they have, people are looking over their shoulder saying, oh, please don't let us play that team. And they could conceivably get a home game if Pittsburgh is a 6 seed, runs through, and gets to New England. If New England takes care of their business, still could happen.
That's the Monday Evening Quarterback with the help of Sean Salisbury.
Thanks, Dan.
Sean.
Appreciate it.
I hope you listened to Hammer before touching that holiday bonus. Big week for Hank Goldberg, 5-2. And in tonight's game, he picks Baltimore to cover by beating Green Bay 16-10. Astros.
All right, Chris, the Colts lost them with nothing more to play during the regular season. They still have 2 more regular season games to go. That brings us to our closing number of 1. Only one team in NFL history has gone on to win the Super Bowl in a season in which it lost 3 straight games, that being the 2000 Ravens. Monday Night Countdown crew coming up at 7:30 Eastern. Yeah. Colts, Seahawks. Who wins?
Colts.
Stop. Boom. Done. Man. Over.
Stop playing. I love it when he says that. That means the question doesn't even warrant an answer. But I will, Colts.
I like for it to warrant an answer because I don't know who you think's going to win.
Come on.
You like the Seahawks?
Stop you love the Seahawks. I love the Seahawks, but I love Indy.
Wait, the Seahawks, but the Seahawks have a little bit more to play for.
Dan, you're cutting into our time. It's time for you.
No. I'm being told I got 45 more seconds. In fact, I may take 2 more minutes. How about that? You know? All right, there you go. I'll sit down here and say,
Welcome.
How you doing, Dan?
is this how you go to work?
Work, baby.
I like this, man. This is old. Oh, there you go. I knew it. Cheap shot. Got me from the blind side. All right, that's it.
Y'all look
That's
crazy.
all I want to know.
That's
45 seconds.
Crazy.
Hey,
I got 15 more seconds. I'll tell you what. I'm going to let you guys have 30 extra seconds. See you, man.
bye, Dan.
This is the worst loss I've had in 34 years.
I don't know. I'm embarrassed.
This is SportsCenter.
Another rough outing for Brett Favre and the Packers. Why this Monday belonged to Bowler. And is it Rex to the rescue for the Bears' stretched run?
This impossible dream comes true.
It's been 25 years since the miracle on ice. Monday, the USA names its Olympic hockey roster. Will this team have the golden touch? The Colts' pursuit of perfection is over. How Indy's dealing with the day after. Can now they just focus on that Super Bowl?
Hey, this is Drew Brees, quarterback for the San Diego Chargers, the same Charger team that just handed the Colts their first loss of the season.
We start with a thrilling finish. Double overtime. Pistons and Grizzlies. Chauncey Billups averaging under 9 points per game his last 3 against the Grizz. He's averaging over 18 points per game for the season. Pistons up 2, 11 seconds left. Ben Wallace, the game-tying lay-in. Pau Gasol getting it there, 87 all. Chauncey Billups with 3. No. Time runs out. And we go to overtime. 2:11 to go in the OT. Tied at 89. Chauncey Billups, the feed down low. There's Ben Wallace. Gives the Pistons a 2-point lead. 13 seconds left. Damon Stoudemire to Gasol. The slam. Tied at 93. Can you say a second overtime? I knew that you could. 3 minutes to go. Rasheed Wallace loses, picks it up, and I'd say he regains. Throws it in for 3, a 1-point Detroit lead. Grizz up 1, 57 seconds left. Richard Hamilton, the floater, no good. Kick out to Billups. Hesitation and the connection. Pistons by 2. Up 3, 10 seconds left. Stoudemire pulls up for the 3 over Ben Wallace. Tied at 104.
Billups comes out to it. Against Stoudemire. Rises to the win. God, he hit it with .3 to go.
Billups finished with 30. Here's he on the winner.
I got a good look. That was the first time they had Stoudemire on me, a smaller guy that I can look and shoot over the top on him, you know what I mean? So that team is for real, man. I liked it. It was good to finally play a tough opponent.
6 Grizz in double digits, but the Pistons win. They're the 27th team in NBA history to start 19-3 or better. With that, we say hello and welcome to SportsCenter. Alongside John Anderson, I'm Steve Levy. We are assured of at least 2 more Sundays with Brett Favre. Can't guarantee any more Monday nights.
No, and potential retirement only partially to blame here. Some of it's on the Packers. Bad teams do not usually get asked back to play on prime-time television. 3-10 Green Bay visiting 4-9 Baltimore. There's Brett Favre. His first ever trip to Baltimore. Might not want to come back. First quarter, Ravens up 7-0. Keep an eye on him, Mike Carroll. He's got his man, and then he just went running right by poor Jamal Lewis. Rule number 1 of defense, tackle man with ball. Visa Skycam play of the game, 2nd and 7, Packers 11, direct snap to Mark Clayton. Jamal Lewis this time the blocker, crunching. Takes it in for the touchdown, 14-0 Ravens. First time in 7 seasons under Brian Billick the Ravens have scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Packers 3rd and 14. Favre rolls out, just chucks it. Samari Roll has got it. Leading 23rd interception of the year for Favre. On the other side, Kyle Bowler's best game as a pro. 19 of 27, 253 yards and 3 touchdowns. Randy Himes, big help with that one. Look at it again. One hand to complete a 16-play, 96-yard scoring drive. Ate up 8 minutes, 23 seconds of the clock. Next possession for the Packers. Favre looking for Donald Driver and instead gets former teammate Neion Sanders. 24th INT of the season for 5 ties. His career high set in '93. And Favre, well, bad things happen in 3. He's pulled in the 3rd quarter. 3rd game in a row without a TD pass. 0 for 3 on Monday night this season. Aaron Rodgers, the #1 pick, comes in, doesn't do much better. He's hit. Adalius Thomas picks up the loose ball. 48-3. The Packers are crushed. Largest blowout in Monday Night Football history. William Henderson, a fullback, has had his fill in this one.
I'm embarrassed. You know, my family is an hour and 45 minutes from here, and they're actually waiting outside for me right now. And I've got to go look at all of them in the face and tell them that we gave it our best shot. But I know we didn't. Or either I got to sit there and listen, because they're not all Packer fans. So I got to sit there and listen to them criticize, and I got to take it.
Well, Brett Favre has won 21 of 27 career starts against Chicago Bears. That's what's up next. Most of those he's done really well when they were in Chicago. This one will be at Lambeau Field. In those starts, he's thrown 51 TDs, completed better than 62% of his passes. Week 13 this season, though, Favre, no touchdowns, 2 picks. By the way, since Favre started his Iron Man streak back in 1992, the Bears have had 20 different starting quarterbacks.
And, John, among those, Rex Grossman. He tore a ligament in his right knee in the 3rd game of last season, didn't return this season. More specifically, this preseason, Grossman broke his left ankle. The Bears quarterback has missed 26 games over the last 2 years. Now, if he doesn't get hurt between now and Sunday, he'll start a game that can clinch the NFC North for Chicago. Kyle Orton was the one calling signals during the Bears' 8-game winning streak, but for now anyway, Orton's out and Grossman is in. That was the case Sunday night here on ESPN. Orton was pulled in favor of Grossman, whose first play of the season, a 22-yard pass completion to Muhsin Muhammad. Grossman finished 9 of 16 for 93 yards in the second half. He'll make just his 7th NFL start Sunday in Green Bay.
Going into the football season, he was our starting quarterback. And our starting quarterback is healthy now, and I really like the energy he brought to our football team when we put him in. You know, the first pass he threw, you know, that's what Rex is capable of doing. Rex will be our starting quarterback this week.
It's going to be fun. You know, Christmas Day in Green Bay, you know. Kind of rhyming there, but it'll be fun just to get my start again, and once again playing against a legend that I grew up admiring.
That's Brett Favre, of course. So Lovey and the Bears decide to go with a quarterback that's made just 6 starts and 3 injury-plagued NFL seasons. In those 6 starts, Rex Grossman, the Bears are 3-3. Kyle Orton in his rookie season, he did enough for the Bears to be atop the division at 10-4, although some of Orton's critics would say Chicago went 10-4 despite him.
More from the NFL ahead here inside SportsCenter. The dream of a perfect season's gone, courtesy the Chargers. How the Colts handled working the day after their first loss of the year. College basketball's leading scorer in a dogfight Monday night. How Adam Morrison and the Zags survived a scare in Spokane against Eastern Washington. And on the ice, Mario Lemieux won't be back with the Penguins anytime soon. Why his doctors are telling him to stay off the ice, out of the rink.
Sky. Well, we've hit the bottom of the hour neighborhood, so it's time to reset SportsCenter, get you caught up to the second with anything you might have missed, like the Pistons-Grizzlies in the double overtime situation. Chauncey Billups connects, gives the Pistons a 2-point lead. Pistons win 106-104. Kyle Bowler, what a game for him. 3 touchdowns, 253 yards.
I'm embarrassed. You know, my family is an hour and 45 minutes from here, and they're actually waiting outside for me right now. And I've got to go look at all of them in the face and tell them that we gave it our best shot. But I know we didn't.
Packers crushed. Brett Favre picked off twice. Only 144 yards passing before being pulled for Aaron Rodgers. Didn't know the Ravens could score 48 points.
And now we welcome in Sean Salisbury once again to talk quarterbacking, but not regular quarterbacking. We're talking playoff quarterbacking, because I'm told that's different, correct?
Far different, because the intensity goes up, and we got to see if the quarterback's blood pressure goes down.
All right, I'm going to give you a quarterback. You tell me if you like him or if you like the pressure to get to him.
You got
it. Looks like the Giants are in. Eli Manning. Take your pick. Manning or
the pressure.
I'm gonna take the pressure in this one. I love Eli Manning, and I believe he's going to be a great player, but he hasn't played well the last 4 to 6 weeks. They're running it well, but sometimes somebody's going to stop Tiki Barber. And can Eli, this early in his career, make the decisions necessary to get him to the next level? I'm going to take the pressure, at least this season.
Jake Plummer won a playoff game with the Cardinals. Take your pick, Jake or...
You know, I'm going to take Jake Plummer, and I normally would not say this, but Jake's played well this year at managing the pressure. They run the football well, they're playing better defense, and Shanahan's been excellent calling plays. I think that as long as they run the ball and Jake doesn't try to do too much, the pressure will not get to him because the kid loves to compete. I'll take Plummer with the success of the running game.
Last Denver postseason win, QB named Elway. Jake's 10 wins are given it to David Garrard. Take your pick, him or...
The pressure.
I'm going to go with the pressure. I like David Garrard's feet. He just hasn't been in the situation enough. And there's also the situation, will he even be playing if Byron Leftwich comes back? But I think that Garrard is a little too inexperienced for this, and they play down to their competition. I really like him as a talent, but I don't think the Jags can go far, not explosive enough on offense.
All right, he's just back in the starting lineup. Folks in Chicago, goofy for Rex Grossman. You want Grossman in the playoffs or?
The pressure.
I'm taking Grossman, and I know people are going to say, what? I'm taking Grossman because there's something about him that he can go 6 or 7 out of 21 and still find a way, I believe, to beat you. I don't think this is your typical Florida quarterback. And with that defense and that run game and that cold weather, I think Grossman's got the toughness to do it. I like this team going a long way in the playoffs, and I like Grossman behind center.
Last QB, Cincinnati, great story all season. Carson Palmer, your man. You want Tommy Trojan or?
The pressure.
No brainer. I'm going with Tommy Trojan because this guy's proven all year long that he can throw the best ball in the league along with anybody. This guy can throw the deep ball, the underneath, the intermediate throw, and he is a guy that doesn't get rattled either, just kind of lets it roll off his back. Love the way he's handled himself. Love the way Marvin Lewis has coached him. Carson Palmer will have this team in the AFC Championship game. He can overcome the pressure. It will not bother him. He's been in plenty of big games in college.
I was only briefly possessed. I've had the exorcism. I'm feeling great. Sean Salzberg,
good.
Excellent quarterbacking knowledge. Good stuff from you. Sorry for all the B-roll.
No problem, buddy. You shouldn't do that ever.
This is SportsCenter.
The Colts playing with heavy hearts in Seattle, where Sean Alexander was setting records and the Seahawks were hoping to clinch home field. Tight in Tampa, Bucs and Falcons head to overtime, where it would be a battle to see who wouldn't miss a kick first. The G-Men trying to clinch, but Santana Moss and the Skins had a big day. And Big D had to rely on their O against the Panthers. The countdown is over. The showdown is here. Kobe and the Lakers descend on Miami to face Shaq's Heat. We head south to set the scene. Merry Christmas to you. Melekaliki Ken Maka to you.
Nice.
While you wrap and unwrap, we unwrap a huge NBA doubleheader on ABC. Spurs, Pistons, Lakers, Heat now hours away. And wrap up a huge Christmas Eve of NFL football. 13 games. They all meant something from where Reggie Bush will play to the playoff picture. I'm John Butchergoss. Here's Neil Everett.
Yeah, begin with the Falcons. Last season in the NFC Championship game, eliminated from the playoff picture if they lose at Tampa. Fans at the game remembering the recent loss suffered by their former coach, Tony Dungy. Pick it up, second quarter, game tied. Bucks with the football after a Michael Vick fumble. Chris Sims dumps it off to Mike Alstott. Nice move. Touchdown. 13 yards, 14-7 Bucks. Later in the second, Falcons with the ball after a Sims interception, 4th and 2. Vick falls down, gets up, finds Michael Jenkins for the first down. Vick 2 and 4 career against Tampa Bay. Later in the drive, Vick to Jenkins again. Michael Vick 16 of 26, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Game tied. Falcons by 3 at half. Fourth quarter, game tied at 17. 3rd and 3. Vick. This Jenkins combination's working. He goes again. Jenkins 4 catches, 54 yards. That one, the best looking of the bunch. Take another look because Rondé Barber is a Pro Bowler, and Jenkins goes right over and takes it from him. Down at the 3. Next play, TD for TJ. TJ Duckett up the middle. Falcons 24-17 lead, but can they hold it? Final 4 minutes. Cadillac Williams. The rookie up the gut for 12 yards, 31 carries, 150 yards. Under 40 seconds to go. Bucks, 3rd and 10. Sims. Looking for Joey Galloway. Comes up just short of the first down. Hey, the Buccaneers have no choice. 4th and inches from the 5. Give me the keys to the caddy. Left side, touchdown, game tied. Remember, Atlanta eliminated from the playoff picture with a loss. We're going to overtime. Bucks win the toss, and they choose to receive. Obviously, they didn't read the Marty Morningwig book. On the kickoff, Adele Shepard hit, and he fumbles. Ronnie Hurd recovers for Atlanta. Jim Mora feeling fraternal. Todd Peterson coming on to try for the win.
And here's the snap. It's down the tee. It's picked up. Picked up. The Bucks have it at the 30-yard line. Tampa Bay has life. Yes, Virginia. There's a Santa Claus.
Dwayne White getting his mitts on it. Michael Vick can't believe it. Tampa Bay earns a reprieve. 3rd and 5 for the Bucks. Sims 29 for 49, 285. Galloway 8 catches, 97 yards, stays in bounds. And we go legal flashback. Back in week 11, Matt Bryant beat the Falcons with a field goal with 42 seconds left. That was after a Michael Vick fumble recovered by Tampa Bay. Could he do it again? Bryant, 27-yard field goal to win it. Let's hear it.
Low snap again, dugout. Here's the kick. It is no good. Wide to the left. When we flirt with that stinking low snap again, and it comes back to bite us on the backside.
Love it when the announcers say us and we. Last time, hey, there was a tie in the NFL 2002 Falcons Steelers. Now, Jim Moore on the phone said afterwards he wanted to know how a tie would affect his team's playoff chances. Could not get a definitive answer, and all that soon to be rendered irrelevant. Mark Jones taking it all the way to the Falcons 49. Now, Bucks at the 24. 20 seconds left. Bryant, 41-yarder.
The snap low, dugout, here's the kick. Bryant's got the leg. He's got the leg. He's got the leg. Bucks win. Bucks win. Sanders on his way. Don't matter where you live.
Snap work. Bucks win at 27-24. There's the Falcons owner. He's bummed. Here's the Falcons quarterback.
We just didn't play, championship-type football when we needed to. And some points we did, some points we didn't. Whether it's on offense or defense, it's not going to win games for you. And playing like that, we won't even win a game in the playoffs. To have that kick block, it kind of, put everything in perspective. Like, maybe this just ain't our year, man. I mean, things just not going the right way for us.
I haven't seen this kind of resolve in my life. In my lifetime as a coach, that was resolve today. And we showed great resolve in the Washington game and the earlier Falcon game. I'm as proud of that as anything that we've instilled as a staff, and a lot of that comes from the players.
Carolina was hoping Atlanta would have beaten Tampa Bay, then a win or a tie over Dallas would have clinched the NFC South for the Panthers. Another great one here. First quarter, 3-0 Panthers. They kicked a field goal, then they kicked off. Dallas fumbled, and then it was Jake Delhomme to Drew Carter. Boy, a good show for Ohio State wide receivers. That's Roy Williams. Delhomme sells the pump, Williams buys it, and Carter from The Ohio State University gets his first career touchdown. Panthers off to a good start. But again, still in the first, the Cowboys come right back. 5 plays, 80 yards. Dr. J. Julius Jones, a big day. Cowboys cut the lead 10-7. Closing seconds, first half. Billy Cundiff, no. Julius Peppers got a finger on the kick. Panthers lead halftime 13-10. Third quarter, Julius Jones. 34 carries, 194 yards. His first game this year over 100 yards rushing. He had 2 touchdowns on the day. Cowboys lead 17-13. Steve Smith, frustrated, incorporated. Jake, I'm open. First upset at his quarterback, Smith is. Then next play, DeMarcus